welcome to Learn to Kettlebell Clean. We'll start with our warm-up, standing right on top of your light or lightest kettlebell. Hinge at the hips, look up at the horizon, and bring the kettlebell up to a standing position. Take a moment to ground down through your feet. Feel your shoulders, down your back. Feel your glutes squeezing a bit. Abdominals engaging a bit. And noticing your breath. And then when you're ready, you'll start to pass the kettlebell around your body. Try to straighten your arms quite a bit. Give yourself space as we do this around the world about 10 more times. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stall the kettlebell in reverse directions. Grounding down through the feet, letting your body oscillate front to back. Dynamic tension. Let's do about 6 more. 5 and 4, 3, 2, 1. Stall the kettlebell, bring it behind you. Squeeze your shoulder blades together, lightly drawing the tips of the shoulder blades together. Widen your feet. Little bend in the knees, big bend in the hips as you do your good morning stretch. Long neutral spine as you look up towards the horizon and come up to standing. About 5 of these, just getting a sense of your hip hinge. If you're tight in the backs of your legs, you'll feel it there. And you're just practicing your hip hinge as you warm things up. Feeling your upper back, some of you more than the stretch in the backs of the legs. They're sort of depending on where you're tight. Coming back up, we'll pass the kettlebell around to the front and deadlift it down to the ground. We're going to go into a prying goblet grip squat. If squats are challenging for you, you could do them on a chair. You could do this without a kettlebell as you start to mobilize your squat bit by bit. If you know you can come down into a squat, you'll deadlift the kettlebell and slide it up into this position here called the goblet grip. We're holding the horns of the kettlebell and we're pulling it in towards our chest. So it slides from the center of the handle to the horns. And you do that all in one swift motion from the floor up to standing. This is the goblet grip. And then we come down nice and low with a long spine. And again, if this is challenging for you, get a stool or a chair somewhere that you can work on your squat and just work on opening up your hips a bit. Pry your knees open with your elbows, tipping side to side. Your heels can be up off the ground, no problem. Just work through this, and bit by bit, it will get a little bit easier. Might do a bicep curl, waking up your core a bit, and then you'll come back up to standing. Slide the kettlebell down, hinge at the hips, and release the kettlebell. Repeat this warm-up up to 2 more times, and then join me for our tall muscle cleans with your lightest kettlebell. So you'll get your lightest kettlebell, place it in front of you, and we'll just work on the top portion of the pathway. We need to get a heavy weight from the floor to your shoulder. This is a kettlebell clean, when we're getting something heavy from the floor to our shoulder. So if you were just to pick it up off the ground and bring it to your shoulder, if it's light, it's no problem. But what we'd like to do is learn how to get a heavy kettlebell from the floor to our shoulder. Let's figure out this front rack position first. So you can suitcase pick up your kettlebell, just like so, and then you'll hold it in the handle. As you pass your belly button, you can release the grip and let the kettlebell slide into your hand. Your palm is facing you, but I'm just going to show how the kettlebell hangs in the palm of your hand. So we want it just hanging there. We don't need to grip once we're in the front rack position. But turn it in towards your body, hug it in, and it should sit quite nicely on your forearm. If you feel like it's on a bone, you can move it, or you can use a wrist guard for now, or for longer. You can use a wrist guard anytime you want to, especially with the small kettlebells. Oftentimes they dig in, so just adjust it or pad it up with a sweater for now. Then slide it back down to this suitcase hold. We're holding it in the corner of the handle of the bell. We zip it up and bring it to the front rack position. So we're zipping it in close to the body, as though you're zipping up a wetsuit. And then it just sits here, neutral wrist, pulling in. You're using your upper body in this front rack position. This is our eventual goal. So we're bringing it down to the side, and then just pass it over to the other side and practice that on the other side. So releasing the grip up here, and then you need to grip it as you pass your belly button so that it doesn't drop to the floor. Try that C-stroke a couple more times with your lightest kettlebell. See if you can let it slide and glide. If the kettlebell is fairly heavy, you might want to guide it with a cheat hand, or you might just want to do a few reps. You'll feel this in your bicep. Okay, so this is the top portion of the kettlebell clean. Suitcase, park that down and shake that out. Take a moment. And then let's get something a little bit heavier. So I recommend an 8-kilogram bell now. And we'll learn the bottom portion of the clean. So getting the kettlebell to hike back. We're going into the frontal plane, forwards and backwards. And then eventually we'll change the trajectory and scoop it in. So it's a challenging movement, but like I say, if you were to do it from the floor to the shoulder, I call it CrossFit style, because oftentimes that's what's done in CrossFit, coming down to up. That's fine if it's light, but as we get heavier bells, we need to be able to swing it and get some momentum with one hand or sometimes with a cheat hand. So kettlebell is in that tripod stance, just like it is for a swing. We hinge at the hips, but now this kettlebell handle is turned sideways instead of the way we have it for our kettlebell swings. So open window here, you tilt it back, and just practice this hike back a couple of times as though you're trying to ring a bell behind you. Really give it some oomph as you hike and park, hike and park, hike and park. So that's the first portion of the kettlebell clean. Use something moderately heavy so that you can get a feel for that. Try that on the other side. Pack your shoulder. Try to get your shoulders higher than your hips, hips higher than your knees as best you can. Looking up at the horizon. Hike and park, hike and park. Okay, so we're just practicing that first initial hike pass. And then we're getting it up now to the front rack. So we practice the pathway up here, tall muscle clean. These are just portions of the movement. Now we're doing the entire movement, the kettlebell clean, getting the heavy bell from the floor to our shoulder. So I'm going to upgrade right away to a bit heavier because, as you have got to know, it's easier for me to demonstrate when I'm using something that gives me a little bit of feedback. And that will be the same for you as you get familiar with these movements. So the kettlebell clean looks like this. We hike back and we zip in to the front rack position. So now we're here, and with the bigger bells, they sit nicer on your forearm. Give that a shot. Clean and bring it up to the front rack position. And just notice how that feels. It should feel really good. It should feel good sitting there, and your upper back is getting some nice work. And you don't even have to grip the kettlebell there. You get a lot of information in that front rack position. Then on the way down, we hike back, absorbing with our hips the weight. So getting it down should feel quite easy or efficient. Let's do it on the other side. I'll go and then you can go. We hike back, we zip in. So we're really trying to hug it close to the body. And you'll notice if you're over gripping, you'll slap your wrist with the kettlebell. So just know that releasing the grip is a good idea. And then just feel that front rack position. Should feel really good. And as we get heavier and heavier weights to our shoulder, this is what we're looking for. And in order to get a heavy weight to the shoulder, we need to use this technique of this efficient hardstyle kettlebell clean. We hike back and we park. So just practicing that a couple of times, gradually increase the weight. Maybe we'll do a couple more. I'm going to increase the weight by 1 kettlebell size and do the same thing. So I'll go and then you can go. Tilt the kettlebell handle towards you, pull that shoulder back, hike, and clean in. So it's as though someone's standing in front of you and you don't want to hit them unless there's a reason you'd like to hit them. So we bring it close to the body and we get out of the way with our hips by swinging our hips back in that hip hinge. Okay, so that absorbs the shock of the kettlebell, so it's coming down through the center, and as it passes the belly button, we grip and we hip hinge to park. Try that out on your first side. Hike back, zip in, front rack position, and then the way down is the same as the way up. You zip it down, unzip the wetsuit, hip hinge, and park. This is one of the most challenging, but one of my favorite movements because it allows us to get such heavy weight from the floor to our shoulder. I'll repeat that over and over. All right, so here we go. Hike back, zip in, and it should slide and glide through quite efficiently. There is momentum in this movement. Okay, and then feel that front rack, hike back, and park. So your feet will be wide like they are for a kettlebell swing, and that should feel really good. Try it with a very heavy kettlebell. This will help you understand the movement. So your heaviest kettlebell or something that gives you a little bit more feedback than whatever you were using. I'm going to use my 16 kilogram bell, 35 pounds, somewhere around there. Your 25 pounder could be good if this is brand new. But I would love it if you would challenge yourself with something quite heavy, even if you can't get it up, because it'll teach you how to use momentum and how to use your hip drive to get it up to your shoulder. And we'll use a guide hand. They call it a cheat hand. So the cheat hand simply cups on top, and it's doing about 10% of the work. It's a little bit more psychological than actual, but I find for myself using the cheat hand for a heavy bell is awesome. And then I don't bruise my wrist. So let's try. So this cupping of the hand, the second hand just guides the kettlebell back, and then you come into the front rack. And as soon as you get into the front rack, you release your hand. And now we've got heavy weight on our shoulder. It's awesome. We hike back and park to the floor. So on the way down too, if you're using your guide hand on the way up, use it on the way down too. Try that on the first side. Hike back, zip in, holding in the front rack, releasing that second hand. Feel how that feels up in that front rack posture. So good for your abs, your glutes, your upper back, your posture. And then when you come down, guide it down with the second hand, parking it to the floor. Okay, I'm going to do my second side, tripod stance, hinge at the hips, pull that kettlebell back. I don't know, sometimes I like to flip the flat side off to one side. You can experiment with that. Hike back. Oh, I didn't use my guide hand, and I needed to halfway through with this heavier bell. Guide it back and park it down. So this heavy bell, there's no way I could get it. It would be very clunky if I was lifting it up to get it to the front rack without this technique. So learning this technique is magic. Give it a go on your second side. Tripod stance, tilt the kettlebell handle back, look up at the horizon, hinge at the hips, hike, zip in, hold it in the front rack position, feel your abs, feel your glutes, feel your posture, and then guide it back down, same pathway as on the way up. Then take a moment and take that in. Note what kettlebell you used. Too easy, too hard, just right? Did it teach you how to use your kettlebell, this kettlebell clean technique? Make some notes about that in your journal or just mental note. And then let's do maybe one more. And the whole reason we do the kettlebell clean is because then we can kettlebell press, we can squat. So we're learning how to get the kettlebell to our shoulders so that we can then do all of these other things with just one hand. So we're working both sides, as you'll feel, but we only need one kettlebell in one hand to get all of that information and stimulus. Okay, so an even heavier kettlebell, I don't have one handy, so I'm gonna do the same thing one last time. No, I'm gonna go get my heavy kettlebell, and so are you, and you'll deadlift it, waddle walk, place it down, something heavier than you think you could ever lift. Give it a go, within reason, of course. This is new and you're learning. You want to squeeze your glutes, you want to firm your feet, corkscrew your feet, feel this vertical plank, remembering that we're always looking for this horizontal plank feeling as we're standing. So you might even try that vertical plank in this straight arm position or in a forearm position, and then come back up. Remember the cheat hand? I'm going to do this one more time. Cheating this heavier kettlebell, hiking back, zipping into the front rack. And I'm going to hold here. Hold once you get to the top for a couple of breaths. It should be quite heavy. See if you can hold it there. 3, 2, 1. And then come back and down. Or perhaps you're going to go now. You'll get that cheat hand ready to go. You'll get your feet ready. Hike back, zip in, hold in the front rack position. And if you've got heavy weight, you should feel this. Lots of information. And it's good to do it just 1 or 2 times heavy. And most of the time you can go back to lighter. But do this one time. And then when you're ready, you'll hike it back and park it to the ground. And then you'll try that on the other side. I'm going to go first, zip it back, zip it in. I'm really squeezing my glutes. I'm feeling my shoulder packing. I'm using the other side of the body. And this is work. This is awesome. It's like I say, one of my favorites. Couple of breaths, and then you'll need to put it down fairly soon if it's heavy. Mine was a 20 kilogram bell, 44 pounds. Of course, I've got a lot of experience, but this is a great weight for me to use. You might work your way up to a similar bell size. Give that a go on your second side. Feel your posture. Notice if you need the guide hand. Notice if you're over gripping. And if you want to look at more videos on this, it's the Hardstyle Kettlebell Clean. And perhaps we'll finish off with a lighter kettlebell, holding it in the front rack position. So now that you know the technique, this is going to feel nice and easy. You might not need your cheat hand. Let's do this final one together, and we'll hold for about a minute on each side. This is it for today, so this is your last task. Let's give it a go. You pull the kettlebell handle back, cheat if you like, or zip it back, pull it in, and let's hold in this front rack position for an entire minute. Breathing in, breathing out, knowing that you could press. If you're craving a press, you could do one now. If you're craving a squat, you could do one. We're building towards these movements, and you'll need to know the front rack position to do that. You might pretend you have another kettlebell in your opposite hand. hugging in, pulling your shoulder blades together. Sometimes this is helpful. You can always try this with double bells as well. And let's hold for a few more breaths, squeezing the glutes, feeling your posture. We'll hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hike it back and park it down. I think that was about 45 seconds. And we're just testing, we're just getting used to things. If you do the intro and test your kettlebell carry video, you can test these for exactly 1 minute. And then we'll go to the other side. Are you ready? Tripod stance, hinge at the hips, pull that kettlebell back. 3, 2, 1. Hike and zip it in. Front rack, hold here. Feel your core, but you should be able to breathe. Did you use your hips? How does the kettlebell feel? Should feel really good. Sitting on your, if it's a bit bigger, if the bell's bigger, it'll sit on your bicep and your forearm. If it's smaller, it won't sit quite as nice, but it should still feel pretty good. And it's a pulling movement. So this is awesome as well because then we're getting our pulling in. And we'll hold for about 8 more seconds, just breathing here. Finding your vertical plank. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Guide that kettlebell down. Park it to the floor. Shake that out. That is awesome work. Repeat that. Experiment with different bell sizes. The kettlebell clean is a powerful, powerful skill to have in your skill set. Let's shake it out. Come to a wall or a counter, something to put your hands on. Walk your feet back a bit and lengthen through the spine. Breath in, breath out. Small bend in the knees. Let your head gently sink through your arms. Feel your fingers plugging into the wall or the counter. Notice your feet. Feel that long spine, hip hinge. Any movements here that feel intuitive. Another cycle of breath. Slowly come up to standing. We have a little bit of extra time today, so we'll ground down through one foot. Catch the top of your opposite foot. If you struggle to get the top of your foot, place it on a chair. And so we are looking for a neutral pelvis so that we can really work on elongating our quad without borrowing flexibility from our back. And so just mind that if you're catching your foot, if it's too much, put your foot on a chair. And then really squeeze your glute, tuck your pelvis under, looking straight ahead, gently packing your shoulder down your back. And trying not to sickle the ankle. Drive the knee down towards the ground, energetically. So this is an effortful stretch. It's a powerful posture, organizer, corrector. Just because we sit so much, these quad muscles do get quite tight. Take another breath. And then release the foot down. Go to the other side, put on the chair or catch it with your hand, pack your shoulder, tuck your pelvis under. And if you struggle to do that, better to put your foot on a chair. I put my foot on a chair for an entire year doing this Egoscue postural E-size, they call it. Of course, you've probably done this many times in your life, but getting everything organized will improve the benefits of this stretch. So it's active. You're pushing your foot into your hand or into the chair. You're breathing, you're squeezing your glutes, and you're driving your knee down towards the floor. This will help with squats. This will help with all of your movements. Another breath in. And when you release, try not to slingshot your leg, just release it gently. And then let's interlace our fingers, stretch them out in front and bring them up and overhead, any amount. Ground down through the feet, lengthen through the spine. Big inhale, full exhale. One more cycle of breath. Slowly bring the arms down. Thank you so much for joining me. Until next time, keep strong, kettlebell on.